Welcome, booksellers. Thank you for joining us for our 2020 Carlong Publishers Booksellers Seminar. It's somewhat different from our 2018 session, which was very successful, and it is going to really take you beyond where we were in 2018 into our post-COVID era, because we all know that we are going to be successful. Following COVID, we are going to work very hard and work closely during COVID so that at the end of the season, at the end of the year, we will be successful. Welcome.
Welcome, booksellers, to another exciting Carlong Publishers Booksellers webinar. My name is Domion Shorter.
And I'm Nick Bromfield.
And we are the marketing rep for Carlong Publishers. I'm the Eastern Region marketing rep.
And I'm the Western Region marketing rep.
And my parishes consist of Portland, St. Thomas, St. Catherine, St. Mary, Manchester, Clarendon, and Kingston and St. Andrew.
Okay, and I take up at St. Anne, Trelawney, St. James, Hanover, Westmoreland, and St. Elizabeth. So I stop at Spurtree Hill.
Okay. We will be sharing with you some of the books or current publications that we have done recently that you should have in your stores. And I would like to say that during this trying time, COVID-19, we'd like for you to be safe. And we'll be sharing some books, as we said, that you should have in your stores that will make your selling season profitable this year.
But before we do that, Domian, I should mention to you booksellers, some of you are wondering, will there be a book selling season? I can assure you there will be, right? Because the feedback we have gotten from the market is that there will be a selling season. You will see book lists coming in shortly, so fear not. So let's jump right into it. Allow me to introduce you to our latest and most exciting suite of books for PEP. And this is for the curriculum-based test. It is called the Carlong Practice Papers, Carlong PEP Practice Papers, Maths, Language Arts, Science, and Social Studies. I should mention to you that the Mathematics and Language Arts are on the Ministry of Education supplementary list, so it will be on a lot of book lists this year. Also, the Science and Social Studies will be on a few book lists because of the private schools, and there will be some primary level schools who will have additional books, recommend additional books. So this is something for you to stock up. Every bookstore should have these, okay?
Thank you, Nicholas. Now I'd like to introduce our Adventure series. This series was the first done by Carlong for the new standard national curriculum, and it's for the lower primary level. We have the Adventures Mathematics Year 1.
Adventures Language Arts Year 1.
We also have Adventures Language Arts Year 2.
And Adventures Mathematics Year 2.
And we have, so far in the series, our Adventures Maths Year 4. These titles are on the ministry's supplemental list, so you should see increased sales this year as we have promoted them. We have done some digital promotion this year in spite of what you know that is currently happening with COVID-19. So we have gained adoptions for some of these titles to book lists.
Okay, next in line is the popular Carlong Primary Religious Education series. We have the Carlong Primary Religious Education Year 4 for grade 4 and the Year 5 and 6. This book is for 2 years, grade 5 and 6. And they're extremely popular and getting even more popular as more and more schools offer a book for religious education on the book list. So this is a must-have for your stores, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay. You might have seen these in your stores. I'm reinforcing that you should have them. Critical thinking. This is what is for critical thinking. How smart are you? And we promote this for at the grade 5 or grade 6 level. Mind Builders. This is for grade 4, and it's the foundation for how smart are you. So most schools would add this at grade 4, and they would step up to how smart are you at the grade 5 and 6 level.
Good news, booksellers. The Carlong Primary Social Studies series has been revised, and this is the first book the Carlong Primary Social Studies Year 4 that has been published. The Year 5 and 6 is coming shortly, right? So it's revised for the new curriculum, and it's as exciting and colorful as the ones before, maybe even better. Also, First Steps in Science has been revised. So far we have the Year 4 and the Year 6. The Year 5 is coming shortly. All right?
Thank you, Nicholas.
You're welcome.
Our exciting English language suite for the secondary level. We have English B Paper 1 for the exam at the CSEC level. English SBA for CSEC. This is a very exciting title. It holds the students and then take them through this SBA syllabus.
Both for English A and B.
And this is the exciting English B for CSEC. It's one of the only titles in the market right now, and it's very exciting, very new, and it will assist your students. This is a must-have for your stores.
Okay. For history at the grade 7 level, we have Creating Jamaica Early Years. It is on the Ministry of Education's book rental system, and it's supplied to schools, but you should have it in your stores because there will be persons from private schools and otherwise coming in to purchase, okay? So this is a must-have. Also, I'm introducing you to Exploring Geography, formerly known as Introducing Geography, and it has been updated, given a fresh name, and is very colorful and exciting, starts with objectives, and is proven to be very popular. So this is another must-have in your stores.
So booksellers, we have just introduced some of our titles that you should have in your stores. And for this selling season, you should have your supplemental list. You should also have a copy of your book rental list, so this will guide you in terms of your purchases, because we are going through some trying times and we'd not want you to expound your vital capital in areas that you would not want to. So.
All the best this selling season, and we look forward to meeting with you. Thank you.
Hi, welcome to Carlong's Booksellers Seminar 2020. Today, we'll be featuring books published by Hodder Education. We will begin by going through the titles in our primary section, featuring the new titles that have been published, then reviewing our key backlist titles. Then we'll move on to our secondary titles, featuring again the new titles we recently published, and then reviewing our backlist titles. Let us begin with our primary section. Our most recently published text is our Problem Solving and Reasoning Skills for PEP Maths. This text is available for grades 4, 5, and 6. It is aligned to the Jamaica National Standards curriculum with scenarios and activities to develop each strand of the NSC. It offers support to both parents and teachers to assist with the introduction and exploration of each activity, including the objectives and the problem solving and reasoning skills being developed. It supports a mixed abilities classroom with differentiated activities, and it takes a mastery approach. This text is ideal for helping students to develop those 21st century skills such as collaboration, communication, creativity, and critical thinking through engaging activities. Our next text is our Primary Mathematics for Jamaica NSC edition. This text replaces the older version of Jamaica Primary Mathematics. It is key to note that levels 1 and 2 are the only texts approved by the ministry for grades 1 and 2. This text is fully aligned to the NSC and follows the exact sequence of the curriculum. It fosters an analytical approach to real-life mathematical situations through familiar cultural references in contextualized activities. It encourages students to explore and explain how they reach their final answers with reasoning activities, giving students a chance to work with others and be creative. Next, we have our First Aid in English reading series. This series is a favorite among preparatory and primary schools. Here are some honorable mentions. Our Caribbean School Atlas and the Caribbean School Atlas Skills Workbook by Professor Mike Morrissey. This atlas is perfect for students at the upper primary grades 4 to 6 and lower secondary grades 7 to 9. A few more honorable mentions that are a staple on most primary book lists include our Illustrated First Aid in English, the Student's Companion and Workbook, and the crowd favorite, the New Junior English Revised. Now let us move on to our secondary titles. Our next texts include the Log On to IT Lower Secondary and Log On to IT for CSEC, the 3rd edition. This text helps to motivate students to master information technology with updated resources designed to support recent IT developments and the latest curricula across the Caribbean. Each chapter features learning objective clearly outlined. It contains Did You Know boxes with additional information, keywords picked out in color and defined in the glossary. In addition, it has end of chapter summaries to make revision easier. It supports all learning styles with a range of questions including multiple choice, recall, structured, true and false, and puzzle. Next, we have Achieve, the 2nd edition. Written by Dr. Paulette Ferreira, it is a complete English course for CSEC English A examinations. Here are some sample pages. Our next text is a City and Guilds 3850 English for Caribbean Schools. This is the only text of its kind that is available for students sitting the City and Guilds exam. This City and Guilds 3850 English for Caribbean Schools text helps students to develop the reading, writing, speaking, and listening skills needed to succeed and is the only resource available for City and Guilds 3850 within the Caribbean. It thoroughly and systematically explores topics across each level with clear explanation, worked examples, and test your knowledge multiple choice activities. This text provides a complete, comprehensive cover of all 3 certification levels with content written by experienced examiners. Students can prepare for their exam with clear objectives which indicate the skills to be developed and the areas of examination being targeted. Next up, we have our City and Guilds 3850 Mathematics for Caribbean Schools. Again, it is the only City and Guilds text of its kind available for 3850 Math within the Caribbean. Students are able to improve their mathematical skills and understanding with the only resource written specifically for the Caribbean region. It provides a comprehensive coverage of all 3 certification levels, and also it helps to prepare students for exam with clear objectives and adequate exercises for practice. Next, we have our Essential Principles of Business for CSEC, the 4th edition. This text is fully aligned to the new CSEC business syllabus containing sections such as shipping and logistic management. It helps students revise for exams with the chapter summary and list of keywords along with multiple choice questions. Next, we have our Principles of Accounts for the Caribbean, or more commonly referred to as Franco's. Again, this text is fully aligned to the new CSEC Accounts syllabus, and it will help students prepare for their exams by ensuring students understand a range of theoretical and practical techniques being used in accounting. They're able to navigate the CSEC syllabus with ease with both matching the structure and coverage, as well as including detailed section on the SBA with annotated examples to help students when planning their own. Here are some honorable mentions. Our Lower Secondary History. This text is fully aligned to the NSC for grades 7 to 9. It helps to reinforce learning and test knowledge through comprehensive revision questions and prepare students for CSEC level. Our next text is Ponte al Día para Jamaica. Ponte Aldea para Jamaica is a crowd favorite among Spanish teachers because it meets the requirements of the NSC for grades 7 to 9, and it also adequately prepares students for CSEC level Spanish. It helps to motivate them with the cultural text structured into units and divided into mini lessons for ease of learning and access. It also contains advanced conversation and listening skills with audio resources and conversation practice in each unit. Here are some honorable mentions for CSEC English B: A World of Prose, A World of Poetry, The Tempest, and Plays for Today, which contain the CSEC play Tijan and His Brothers. All students doing CSEC English A and English B will likely have these texts on their book list. Here are some additional texts that are commonly seen on book lists for lower secondary students doing literature: The Young Warriors, which is a crowd favorite, Escape to Last Man Peak, and Green Days by the River. For science, Biology for CSEC, Chemistry for CSEC, Human and Social Biology for CSEC are all crowd favorites used to help prepare students for their CSEC examination. Other popular titles include Frangipani House, Aunt Jen, which is currently being used in Cape Literatures and is a favorite for lower secondary students, particularly in all-girls schools. Over Our Way, Young Warriors, Cape Sociology, Cape Communication Studies, Cape Caribbean Studies are all texts commonly seen on book lists. Feel free to contact any of our representatives for further information on these texts or to request samples or promotional material. Thank you.
Booksellers. Booksellers are an integral part of the development of this country. And I'm really excited to be talking with you this morning. And it's funny, when I got the invitation to speak, I had a flashback. And the flashback was to 19 Little Bit, grade 5, Ocho Primary School, Miss Bishop. And I remember being asked by Miss Bishop to stand and read from Alibaba and the 40 Thieves. And I was reading, and the next thing I felt was the strap around my back. And she was saying, "The word is." Now, I don't even think I heard what the word was. The belt just knocked everything out of me. But I'm very clear that Miss Bishop, the books I read, the things that nurtured and developed me to be the speaker and presenter that I am today. My name is Bryan. I am the managing director of the region's #1 Salesforce development company, and I'm very clear that you and I are in the same business. We're in the business of developing people. And what you do as booksellers is provide access to the tool, the resource for development at the primary and secondary level. So I'm excited to talk to you, particularly because this is unusual times, really unusual times. So one of the things that I want for you to recognize is that the work that you do was valuable then in the 1980s when I was in school, and is extremely valuable now. As someone who employs people, as someone who recruits for companies, what I find is that those persons that have the foundation in the English and the math and the tools that you provide are the ones that are going. So continue to do the work that you do. Notwithstanding COVID, which I'll speak to in a moment, your work, your business is extremely important and valuable to the country. So keep doing that. Now, who could have told us that in June 2020, people would have said, let us have a cancellation of this whole year. Let us start over again. Because this year has been pile upon pile upon pile of really amazing occurrence. Started with the Australia fires in January. That was a heartache for me. I mean, right down to COVID and what's happening in the US right now as we talk about police justice and so on. Guys, no one could have foreseen COVID-19. No one could have really planned for that. What we are dealing with is an occurrence that has restricted social engagement, that has curtailed economies. And guys, as a bookseller, I can imagine the concern and trepidation that you may be facing. But I want for you to know that like COVID, like all the other disruptions in our economy, we will survive this. And the way we survive it is going to be important. So what I want to talk to you today about is, who do you need to be, the mentality that it will take to not just survive COVID, but thrive through it. Now, funny enough, years ago I had this quote. I was reading Charles Darwin's work, and he has a quote in his book, and it's a very profound quote, particularly for the season that we're in. And the question really is, who will survive in these times? What kind of businesses? What kind of business leader? What kind of bookseller? Who will survive? Frankly, who will thrive? Who do you think? Is it the smartest? The strongest? No, being smart and being strong matters. It does. But Darwin's quote was this: it is not the most intelligent. It is not the smartest. It is not even the strongest that will survive periods of extreme change. Who will survive is the most adaptable. Is the most what? Adaptable. And so I want for you to really consider at this point in time, have you been adaptable? Have you been willing to explore and engage and innovate? Have you been willing to change things up, to see how you can meet the market where the market is? As a sales professional, I get every day calls from my customers saying, Paul, people aren't buying. They're saying salaries cut. They're saying there's a freeze on spending. They're saying it's put forward to the 2021 budget. How do we get people to buy when people are concerned about their living tomorrow? How do we get people to buy when they're not sure about their jobs tomorrow? We have to bring the adaptability to them. And so I want to talk about a few things this morning. I want to talk about the mindset of adaptability, what it means for your business, what it means for you providing what you provide for the marketplace. I want to talk about the mindset that is entrenched in responsible, having a strong outlook, and really being very powerful in your commitment to the market. I want to move from there and talk a little bit about what I call the formula for sales success. What it really is going to take in this time and any other time for you to grow your daily sales. And I want to end with a few ideas on how to leverage the social mediums to drive your business. Now, I want for you to make sure you have a pen and paper ready. I want for you to take notes, because I promise you, those some of the things that I say you may have heard before, they're going to come across differently. And for you to remember and actualize and implement what I'm going to say, it works to write it down. Make sure you have it. I'm going to give you 2 seconds to gather it. You got it? You sure? All right. So we have had companies come to us throughout this period of COVID to reimagine how they sell. And what we notice is that there are certain kinds of companies and leaders who come to us, and there are certain kinds of companies and leaders who are kind of wallowing in the, oh my goodness, COVID is here, I can't get what I want. What we have found is that the difference between those who are moving in COVID and those who are not is their mindset. It's their mindset. And we know from the work that we do that 80% of your success has nothing to do with the technical, tactical skills, but the mindset. How do you come to the party? How do you come to the game? How do you come to the issue? How do you come to the challenge? And there are particular mindsets that work, and there are particular mindsets that sabotage our success. So I want to talk to us about those mindsets, and I want to challenge us as leaders in our bookstores to really bring that mindset not only for us, but for the people that we lead. Because as leaders, you set the pace. If as a leader you are sprinting, the people in your organization are running. If you are running, they are jogging. If you are jogging, they are walking. If you are walking, they are creeping. If you are not moving, everything is dead. The pace of the business, the success of your business is going to be dictated by how you, the leader, drives this process. Let's talk about responsibility. Now, who could have predicted COVID? Nobody did. Can you stop COVID from going all the way it needs to go? No. But can you do what you need to do to be responsible to protect yourself and your family? Yes. And that you must do. The truth is that COVID is here. We are all impacted. The only question is, are we going to be a victim of COVID? I'm not talking about being sick by the pandemic, but are you going to have COVID absolutely dictate your life, your business, your success? Or are you going to say, COVID is here, I understand what it is, it's serious, but I as a bookseller, I as a leader in my business can do something today to improve the mood of my team, to breed a level of optimism in my space, so that the person who's willing to buy will come into my store. It doesn't work for you to operate in this environment being a victim. It doesn't work for you to operate being woe is me. It doesn't work for you to give up your hand and play wait and see. What we have found in the companies that we are working with is that the companies that are moving through are the companies that are saying to themselves, okay, what am I going to do about it? What am I going to do about it? That's what the leaders are saying. What am I going to do about it? And so here's what we want to talk about in terms of responsibility. Responsibility simply is this: the willingness, your willingness to do whatever it takes to be successful. It's your willingness to do what it takes to be successful. Are you willing to be someone who's going to move things, going to make things happen? Or are you going to be someone who's going to wait for things to happen and then you move? As a leader in your bookstore, as a leader in your business, one of the fundamental mindsets that you must bring is a mindset of ownership. I'm responsible. So this rings out in two ways for booksellers, particularly if you have a team on the floor that's working the floor, that's engaging your customers. Your mood matters. Your view matters. Your people are taking their cue from you. If you are concerned and fearful, they will be concerned and fearful. Are there things to be concerned about? Yes. Do you need to be fearful? No. If you are optimistic and engaging, they'll take their cue from you. And if I am shopping, I'm telling you, I want to engage in the bookseller's business where I feel people are optimistic, where I feel people are excited, where I feel that there is some level of excitement there. That's what would attract me. I don't want to go into a store. I don't want to be engaged with a bookseller where the mood and the attitude is, well, let's see. Well, maybe. What we want and what you want for your business as a leader is to set the mood by being clear about your message. And your message is not just what you're saying, your message is who you're being. So here's the first thing I want for you guys to make sure that you adopt. And if you have adopted this, fantastic, spread it. Every day with your team, it is important that you set the tone for the day. In my company, every morning at 8:30, everybody huddles. And there are two things that we're doing. Number one, we're saying, what am I grateful for in my business this morning? A quick walk around the table. And number two, what can I do to drive my business today? And when you and each of your team members are thinking that way, they will have a deeper, better, more enlivened conversation with whoever walks through. They will actually have a conversation with the person they meet socially distancing at the supermarket, who has a child who could be a customer of theirs. Your job as a leader is to set the mood for engagement by being someone who, despite the situation, is engaging him or herself. I hope that makes sense, guys. Responsibility matters. Your job is to be responsible. And ultimately, here is what I want you to note. Write this down, guys. E plus R equals O. Write that down. E plus R equal O. This is a formula that I want you to guide your steps, your thoughts, your actions as a leader. What does E mean? Events. Events happen. What kind of events? All kinds of events. Are you in control of every event happening in your life? No. You couldn't have stopped that JetBlue flight from coming in. You couldn't have stopped that guy in Wuhan from eating bats. I mean, things happen. You can't do anything with most of the things that are happening in your life. That's the E, the event. The R is where you can be in command. The R is for your response. Or, for some people, your reaction. How you respond or react matters. It is here. Borders are closed. No, they're being opened. Businesses have been shrunk. People have been laid off. Those are the events. Your job is to tailor your response so that the O outcome is the outcome that you want, is the outcome that you favor. Your job is to manage your ability to respond. So when we say the number one quality that as a business leader in books that you need to bring right now is response ability, listen to the word, response ability. Do not be a victim. Operate as if I, as a leader, can make a difference to the people walking into my stores. I, as a leader, can make a difference to the people calling my phone. I, as a leader, can make a difference to the people connecting with me through the social media mediums, Facebook, LinkedIn, whatever they are. And I, as a leader, is going to make sure that I move the conversation forward. Number one, be responsible. It is one of the what we call internal structures for your success. Now, the second thing that we notice really matters, again, we're looking at the persons who are coming to us and who are moving their business in this tough time. Here's another thing that really matters, your outlook. That is, when you look at tomorrow, what are you seeing? Is the glass half full or the glass half empty? Your outlook really determines your outcome. The story is told of these two shoe salesmen who they were sent to Zambia in the early 80s by Hush Puppy. And Hush Puppy had done good business in the US and they wanted to expand. And they sent these two shoe salesmen. One of them landed, and as he stepped out of the plane and he looked around, he saw that nobody wore shoes. He was taken aback. He said, "This is absolutely nonsense. Nobody here wears shoes." And he went to the post office and he sent a telegram to his boss. And the telegram was, "Boss, listen, let's book the next flight back. This is not going to work here because nobody here wears shoes." The second shoe salesman came off the plane, and as he descended the stairs and he was looking around, a smile came on his face. What he saw was that nobody there was wearing shoes. He rushed to the post office to send his telegram, and his telegram was, "Boss, send 2 container loads because nobody here wears shoes." The question is, are you going to fill the gap, or are you going to have the gap stop you from being in the market? What is the market wanting now? Now that people are learning online, maybe a part of your engagement strategy is to support any of these online learning forums that people need. Maybe as a bookseller, you could have some guideline on how to leverage the Zoom platform, for example, to have your children learn. When you take the situation and you provide something that the market needs, then you position yourself as the person they will come to when they're ready to buy. A part of your job in this time is to connect and engage. It may not be the time for selling, but in our business we have this particular mantra. If you are not in possession of the customer, you want to put yourself in the position to be in possession at the next available time. And that is your job. As a bookseller, what are you doing now to keep your name out there? You don't have to be selling to keep your name out there. Share some ideas. If you have a social media site, share some perspectives. If you don't, when people walk into your store, share some ideas about how they could help their kids. That's a part of your job. That's how you build equity in your business for the time when they're ready to move. Again, if you're not in possession, you want to be in position to take over. And you do that by adding value. Not necessarily selling now, adding value. Now, the thing about Outlook, particularly in this COVID period, is this. A lot of people I talk to are saying, man, I just want to survive this. And guys, there's nothing wrong with surviving this. But here's the thing that most people haven't really caught on to yet, that you can catch on to now. What you demand of the universe, what you demand of God, what you demand by your speaking is what you get. If you are only wanting to survive, guess what's going to happen? You're only going to survive. What does surviving mean? Surviving means just enough. Just enough. Not just enough to pay the staff. Just enough to pay the bills. If your outlook is, I just want to survive, then chances are you will survive. But really, is it that you just want to survive? Don't you really want to thrive? Is it impossible to thrive now? One of the things that we're asking leaders to do is to change their language and their view. Because we know that when you change your language and your view, you change the world. And then when you match that to changing your language, you change the results. So in our company, we started, just like everybody started with this saying, man, we just really need to make it. We just need to survive it. When COVID hit, we were actually in Trinidad training one of the largest companies there. We were halfway the training when the first case arrived in Trinidad, and the company said, okay, let's pack it up. In our work, guys, if we're not physically there training, we earn nothing. So you can imagine that. In 1 week, 80% of all our contracts stalled. And the fear came on us, guys. For a moment we said, oh my God, can we keep this going? What are we going to do? What can we do to survive? That was our first instinct to what? Just make it. We had in mind, okay, we don't want to leave. This is not a good time to lay off staff, but we may have to. And my partner and I were in that space for about 20 minutes. And we said, whoa, hold on, let's stop. We can't be in front of them physically, but is there any way that we can still deliver the training? Oh, yeah, there is. Okay. Is it that they need less training now to sell, or do they need more training now to sell because people are really not buying? They probably need more training now. And when we started to reason it out, guys, what we simply did was just change our outlook. We changed it. We said there is an opportunity here. We don't know where it is. There's an opportunity here to not just survive, but to thrive. And our job is to find it. And here is what we know. That when you set your mind to find something, you go see it. It's the same phenomenon that happens when you buy your new car and you start seeing all of your new cars around. What happens is, because you're focused on a thing, the world brings the ideas, the opportunities, the people to you that you want. And so, as you change your outlook, we want you to change your ask. As you change your outlook, change what you're asking of call it God, call it the universe, whatever you consider to be the source of the things that are gifted to you. Change your ask, because if you ask for more, you will get. If your ask is small, your delivery will be There's a guy who mainly is in the Matilda Corner era in Kingston 6 where I live. He's mental. And his job is to knock on your door and ask you for money. This one is particularly interesting because unlike all other guys who are begging, wiping glass, when he knocks at your door, he smiles. He says to me, "Dr. Man, what I say? Give me 1,000 now." He doesn't ask for coins. He doesn't ask for 100. He says, "Give me 1,000. You can buy me a burger." I'm saying that to say, now, here I am in my car saying to myself, this guy is absolutely nuts. One, he says to me, "Hey, Dr. Man, big me up, feel good." Then he said to me, "Give me 1,000. I'm saying to myself, no, after him big me up and say, "Give me 1,000, we can't give the man 50 cents. So me give him 100. And I'm telling you guys, because his ask is more, he is getting more. He may not get the 1,000, but I promise you he's not getting coins. Because if he treats everybody like he treats me, I feel embarrassed to give him coins. Take that attitude with you. Change your ask. Ask for more from your God. Don't ask just to survive. Ask to thrive. Ask for more from your people. Not in a, "You got to give me this," but tell them that there's something there that can produce more. Ask it from them. Ask them to be more creative. Ask them to bring their innovation. Ask them to bring their ideas. As the owner of your bookstore, as the owner of your enterprise, as the owner of your library, it is your job to ask for more. Because when you do, you give yourself the best chance to get it. When you change your outlook, when you change your ask, you're going to change your business. The last mindset I want to talk about before I go into some sales work is this, guys. Commitment. I know all of you are in this business because you are committed to providing for yourself, your family. You're committed to contributing to Jamaica. I know that. But there's a difference between commitment and commitment. And what we find is that particularly now, it is the person who is willing to do whatever it takes who's going to win. Obviously, morally, ethically, and legally. And the question that you want to answer for yourself, yes, it's tough. Yes, it's challenging. But are you 100% committed to moving it? If you give yourself any wiggle room in commitment, you open the door for mediocrity. You open the door for complacency. You open the door for unreliability. You want to bring a level of commitment now to the business that is unheard of, but you also want to bring a level of commitment to your market that is unheard of. It's trying time for kids. It's trying time for their parents. As a parent with a 4-year-old, I mean, it's crazy trying to share my home, which is his playground, that I've turned into my business place with him. I understand that. But I'm committed to, even in spite of that, do what it takes not to only make him be happy, but to make my business grow. The question that you need to ask and answer for yourself: how committed are you to doing what it takes to make your business grow? And particularly, how committed are you to growing yourself to make your business grow? How committed are you? And as you focus on what you need to do to capture as many customers in this time, I want you to add who you need to be. And I would suggest that if you bring with you these three brothers: I am responsible, my outlook matters, and my commitment is firm, then I promise you, ideas will come to you, opportunities will knock on your door, people will seek you out that would not otherwise have. Don't ask me how this works. Some people think it's woo-woo, but I'm telling you, and you know this, whenever you are really committed, things happen. Whenever you take full responsibility, things happen. Whenever your outlook is bright, things happen. Your job is to not have COVID and its impact determine how you are going to see the world, the ask that you have, and the commitment that you make. Translate this to your team. Ask them to be responsible for what? For how they show up to work each day. For the smile they bring to their face. Do you know that even inside the mask, people can see if you're smiling? And that matters. But ask your team. Leadership is required right now. Strong leadership from you is required. Do not leave it up to my team to find the mood, to frame the mood of performance. Take it on. Own it. It's your responsibility. And I promise you that if you do this, like my company the first time we were looking at this, we were looking at 80% of business gone. Guys, we have built a multi-million-dollar pipeline of new business over the last 2 months. And it's not because we're the only trainers here, but I believe we're the only one who have been as aggressive, as audacious. We have made more calls, we have sent more emails in this time than ever before, because we recognize that if in the good times it took 10 calls to get 3 customers, in the challenging times it may take 30, and we are committed enough to do it. It's not for us. We don't have any particular claim on this. It's for you as a leader to do. Let's talk about sales and really moving the dial. Guys, in our business, we operate by what we call a sales success formula. It's very simple. It's O times V times R equals C. And you may be saying to yourself, what is this? What is this? O times V times R equals C. The amount of books that you will sell now, the amount of books that you will sell for the upcoming start of the new year, the amount of books that you will sell for this entire year is going to be determined by 4 things. 1, the amount of people you expose to your opportunity. The amount of people who knows that you're there. The amount of people who sees you. That's the first thing. That's the O in the formula. The second thing that's going to drive sales that you have is the value that you bring to the people that see your books. And the value may not be in the cheapest price. The value may be in the quality of service and engagement that you bring. And what we know is that if you can find a way to bring better value, Carlongs have the best set of books that you can have at the primary school level, for the PEP, and for the high schools. We know we have them. We know we have the best books that your kids need to get to the next level in their own development. So the value piece is there. Our job is to expose as many people to the value that we have, and then here's the clincher. The R means your closing ratio. And here is what I recommend that we all need to do to improve that. Have all the persons on your teams be willing to ask, are you ready to purchase now? Are you ready to purchase now? Too often, I walk into your bookstores and someone says, can I help you? And I say, not really. And they let me walk. And I walk around and I look at what I look at. And I may leave without a book. What your people need is a way to engage me and ask, what can I get for you today? So here's how this probably works best for your bookstore. We need, again, we're working on the R, the closing ratio, the effectiveness of asking people to buy and having them actually buy. And if we increase our closing ratio, then of course we increase our sales. Here's what I recommend. Ban this question in your store. Are you getting through? Ban it, outlaw it, cross it out. Tell people do not ask that question. What do you replace that question with? So are you getting through? Almost always the answer is, I'm okay. Thank you. Which means, don't come over here. I'm good. What you need to replace that by is, I'm here to serve your needs. Let me know what you're looking for and I'll be happy to help you. I see you're heading there. Are you looking for children's books? Like, look where they're heading, know where that is, and ask them, are you looking for children's books? Very specific. Very specific. Are you looking for self-help books? If you know that they're going to the self-help section of your store. Okay? And whatever the answer is, you want to let them know that I'm here to help. I will check in with you. Tell them, I will check in with you as you're leaving to make sure that you got what you needed. And what that does is gives them permission to re-engage if the person is walking through the door without the book. Because if they're walking through the door without the book, it means one of two things. Either you don't have the book, which means that you could get the book, or it means that something about the price perhaps needed a discussion and they just weren't willing to ask you about that. You have to find a way to help the people on your floor to have a better conversation such that you can close more deals. I hope that's making sense. So again, ban, are you getting through? Ban it. Insert, I'm here to help you. I see you're heading to. Are you looking for children's book today? Be very specific. And they'll say yes or no. If they say no, okay, great. How can I, what area are you interested in? Have a conversation. Don't pester them, have the conversation. Whatever it is, then you say, I'll be happy to help you with anything you need. I'll be checking in with you when you're about to leave to make sure that we served you well. Something like that. Gives you permission to get back to them before they leave the door. By the way, if they came into the store and didn't find the book that they need, that's a message for you. Don't lose the message because there is no engagement when the person leaves. All right? So we want to do a better job as a business at increasing the rate of which we close. And there are two things that increase the rate of which we close. Here are they. The more you ask people to buy, the more they will buy. It may sound like rocket science, right? But I know you know it's simple. You don't have to have more skill. Just ask more people. The more people you ask to buy is the more they will buy. All right? That's the one thing you need. And the second thing that really works to increase your closing skill is that you actually train them in walking the customer all the way from hello as they come in all the way to the cashier's counter. That may be for another time, but those trainings are available. Okay? It's COVID time. It's virtual selling time. I want to leave you with a couple of things that you can do virtually to help your business. Again, the formula doesn't change. Opportunities. How many people are you exposing to your opportunity? How many people know that you are there? Yes, you may be talking with the schools. Yes, you may be talking to the PTAs. Are you also talking to the Old Boys and Old Girls Association? Are you also talking to the homeschooling people? Make sure that as you look at how many people you're exposing to your services, make sure that you're tapping into as many groups as possible. And that's perhaps where the social medium comes in very, very well. 2 years ago, my friend Alicia said to me that there are around 780,000 Jamaicans on Facebook. How many of those do you want to be your clients? But there are also many groups on Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn. And yes, you may not be with the technology, and yes, it may not work for you, but I promise you that there's somebody in your organization that could help you to get that done. And what you need to do is to find a way to be in front of people where they are. They may not come to your store, no. But if you can get in front of them where they are, then you could get some of their business. So if you have a social media account, a Facebook account that is inactive, isn't manned, here are 3 simple things you can do. 1, identify content that would add value to your market and share it. You don't have to write it. You don't have to spend days writing an article. You don't have to do any of that. Just identify content that would be interesting for parents and share that on your page. That's number 1. Number 2, make sure that if you have a Facebook account, a Twitter account, an Instagram account, that you have the same name, the same handle. So if it's Paul Bryan Bookstore, then I would say Paul Bryan Bookstore, which is my bookstore. I would use that everywhere I am. If it's TGL's bookstore, I say TGL Bookstore as what we call my handle, the way they find me everywhere I am. Second thing I do, I want to be found by the name people know me as, not these funny fancy names, right? These abbreviations that people may not go for. And the third thing you want to do to drive more traffic is give. Not just share ideas, but share perspective, share a quote, share an idea that can help someone that may not have anything to do with books, but would grow what we call your trust and equity account with them. We can do that as business owners. We can cause an increase in the O using the social media space. Lastly, I want to close with this. In your organization, on any given day, there are 3 things that I know you know drives the business. The first thing is, are we getting new people in the store? Are we getting new people on the phone? Are we getting new people on our social media pages? Are we engaged with new people everywhere? So that's one thing that you need to do. One of the strategies that we use successfully with our customers that I recommend to you is have all your staff be marketers for you. Create a game that can be as simple as this. Write down 20 people, 20 family members, friends you know who have children who we could invite into the store. And have them play a game around who can invite most of their people into the store. It's one of the ways that we can increase your prospect. In other words, guys, it's not okay to sit and wait. It's not okay to sit and wait. Now we got to pull them in, we got to invite them in, and now you want to leverage your team. So have your staff, encourage your staff, engage your staff to identify parents that they know, who are their family members or their friends, who you could invite to their store and invite them to your store. Simple. Send an email, make a call. Hey, glad to meet you. I was introduced to you by Mary. I understand you have a 7-year-old and a 10-year-old. What are their names? Fantastic. Listen, I know school is coming up. We invite you to shop here when you're ready. They may not be ready then, but you have extended invitation. On any given day, you want to make sure that you at your bookstore, you are doing something to drive people in, not sitting, waiting, hoping that they come. Number 1. Number 2 is, as I was sharing with you earlier, have your people do a better presentation of the opportunity. as you would have seen in this series, the team here at Carlong introducing the books that we have them do a good job of talking about what are the benefits to be derived from each book. It's not just, here is a book under the title. Tell them what this book is really good for is sharpening their minds. Have them find a way to sell each book, which means simply this: what are the one or two things that this book will do for their children? Very clear. Okay? And the third thing is, guys, in your team, always ask for the business. Always ask them, are you ready to purchase now? Always ask for the business. Always ask for the sale. And guys, I promise you that if during this time of COVID, where people are cautious, where people are uncertain, if you bring these things, if you bring a certain level of leadership where you take full responsibility for what happens in your store, if you bring a certain quality of outlook where you are optimistic about what can happen, if you bring a certain level of commitment where you are owning and you're willing to do whatever it takes to be successful, to do whatever it takes to have your staff be successful, to do whatever it takes to have your customers be delighted. And if you marry that with the simple formula, how can I increase the opportunities I have in the marketplace? How can I increase the value I bring to the marketplace? And how can I make my team better at asking for the business? Then I promise you, in this period where we have to live with COVID, that we will survive it. And we will do one step better than that. We could thrive. It is up to you and I as leaders to do that. We have the power to do it. And I want to implore you to take the actions that make this work. So last thing is this: develop every day a set of routines that will cause those three things to happen. Here's what we recommend. Affirm every morning the major goal that you have for your business. For example, again, if your goal for your business in the next quarter is to sell X amount of units, affirm each morning, I am happy and excited that we are selling 5,000 units of books to schools a month. Affirm it. Affirm it. Every day, ask for what you want and then give thanks for what you want. Every day do it. That's the first thing I want to do. The second thing I want you to do every day is make a note of 2 or 3 things around your business that you're grateful for. Why is this necessary? It keeps your mood high. It have you be infectious to your people. And when you're in that space, you attract more to you. Affirm what you want. Be grateful for what you have. And the third thing I want you to do every day is to make one more call than you normally would. One extra call. One extra call. Don't stop at what you typically do. Every day, get into a habit of making one extra call to get the results that you need. If you train your team in that, and if you take that on for yourself, I'll see you at the bank and we'll have some fun. Be safe in this COVID period. Be responsible. Make sure that you're doing all the things you need to do, but also know that you have a huge part and you have the leading part to play in the life of your business, the success of your business, and in the education of our nation. I thank you for the job you do. I thank you for the commitment that you have. I look forward to your success. Peace out.
Good day, everyone. My name is Sonia Bennett, Publishing Manager for Carlong Publishers. Over a year has passed since the flurry of the first PEP exam and the anxiety from parents and children to acquire books to help them prepare for the first sitting of the new assessment. You were also anxious to ensure that you had the books in your stores to meet the needs of the market and to bring revenue into your business. Many of you had also hoped that you would have sold more copies of those titles and other books leading up to the 2020 exams, but the arrival of the coronavirus put paid to all your plans. So I'm sure you're all now looking at your balance sheet and your plans for the rest of 2020. The schools, the parents, and the students are also thinking about the setback caused by the lockdown of the country and the schools and how they are going to get back on track. One of the resources that definitely will be essential is the availability of the books for the various subjects and examinations. The next sitting of the PEP exam is going to be very important to the parents and the students. Your evaluation of the market will show which books were available for the first sitting of PEP. There is going to be a demand for those books and heightened interest for new books. And this is where Carlong comes in. So I want to start this section of the presentation looking at the Carlong Primary Integrated Series. And you all know the series. The series had 15 books across the 3 grades, grades 1 to 3. We now have a brand new series. And Carlong has been working with the Ministry of Education over the past 3 years to ensure that these books are ready for the market come September 2020. So the series is going to be reduced from 15 books to 10 books. So when you speak to the sales rep at the sales department, you will no longer be getting 15 books. There's going to be 1 book per term for each grade. A book for term 1, for term 2, for term 3. The only year that is the grade 3 books will have 4 books for the year, 2 books in term 2. As you can see on the screen, the covers are going to be different. They're going to be very, very attractive. So look out for these books. We already know that this book is on the ministry's approved list, and the schools have already begun to get notification that these books are on the list. The presentations earlier spoke to the Carlong First Steps in Science, and as you already know, the grades 4 and 6 are on the ministry's approved list that the ministry is putting in the schools. The grade 5 book that's in the school now is not a Carlong book, but we are coming out this year for the selling season with the grade 5 book to complete the series. The same holds for the Carlong Primary Social Studies. We'll be coming out with the grades 5 and 6 Social Studies this year to complete that series. The Adventure series will now be completed by the addition of the Adventures Primary Language Arts 3 and the Adventures Primary Mathematics 3. Also coming out a little later this year for the selling season is a new book for the CSEC level, the Family and Resource Management for Caribbean students. And this book is going to replace the current Certificate Management for Homes and Families. You are already familiar with the Carlong practice papers. These are the books that have been developed for the primary exit profile. We now have a complete series. You would have seen the language arts and the maths, and the marketing people would have spoken to you already about the language arts and the maths. Those books, we have now completed the series, and we have added the science and the social studies. There's an interesting thing about coming out with the science and the social studies at the time that we have come out with them. People were anxious to get the entire series. But one of the pluses about this, and that will be a plus for you too in the store, is that the material that is out there already for science and social studies would have already been stale. This is fresh material for science and social studies. So look out for these books. Very, very attractive. They cover the new curriculum. They provide They cover the new item types that the ministry has introduced into the exam and into the schools, and these you can see permeated through even our grades 4 to 6 social studies and science books. So look out for these books. I have to raise again the How Smart Are You Reasoning and Problem Solving and the Mind Builders. And the reason I'm raising these again, even though the marketers have already done so, is that these books help to prepare the students for the abilities test, which happens in February. The How Smart Are You, which is a little bit different from the Mind Builders, because the How Smart Are You is, as it says, it's a reasoning and problem solving, critical thinking, problem solving book. And the Mind Builders is a book that builds the students' verbal and thinking and numeracy skills. The How Smart Are You for your grades 4 to 6, particularly for your grades 5 and 6. And we suggest and encourage you to purchase the Mind Builders starting as low as grade 4 to prepare them for that exam that they'll do in grade 6. Remember that the abilities test is done only in grade 6. So those are the new material that will be coming out this year. We want to wish all the best for you during the 2020 selling season, and we hope that things pick up and look much better for you by the end of the year. Thank you very much.
Good day, everyone. Presenting to you today on the MCP series. Now, we all know how good the MCP series is. It has a lot of critical thinking, problem solving material in it, and even if it's not on your core list of titles, it can be added to your supplemental list. So let me take you through the stages and the various titles that we have available, and these can be used in the primary and prep school, and it can be used at your learn at home as a learn at home source material. So let me just take you through. The first title we have on the list is the Comprehension Plus Level A. Now, this series it goes from levels A to F, and it provides explicit instructions and practice of the comprehension skills students need to understand written text. The key program differentiators: it works. It works. It's research-based, companion program to MCP Phonics and the MCP Spelling. It is tried and true proven success. It propels readers to succeed. Direct instruction in the student edition, explicit teaching and strategies. What's the plus? This program also teaches vocabulary, writing connections, phonics and work study, and study skills. It's easy to use. It's supportive of the teacher's guide. It addresses individual needs, and the students' editions contain everything students need. And as I said before, it goes from levels A to F. So let me take you to the next subject in the series. And we are at the MCP Spelling Workout. This also goes from levels A to F. spelling workout has all the components you need to lead students from simple sound letter relationships to more complex spelling patterns. Students learn spelling skills based on phonics through unique cross-circular reading passages, practice, and high-interest writing activities. It's packed with flexible lessons, motivating activities, including fun riddles and puzzles. This dynamic program leads students to spelling success. The Teacher's Edition. This provides detailed lesson plans for either a 3-day or 5-day plan. It offers strategy activities for reinforcing and analyzing spelling patterns. It includes dictation sentences for the pre-test and final replay test. It suggests suggestion tips for meeting the needs of English language learners. Features take it home masters to help foster home involvement and follows the same scope and sequence of MCP Plaid Phonics, which I'll get to. I'll take that to you further on. And as I said before, this series goes from A to H. Now the MCP Plaid Phonics. The overview. The MCP Plaid Phonics set the standard of excellence in its 50-year history of helping more than 55 million children learn how to read. It features the features and benefits. It integrates reading comprehension and critical thinking. It offers meaningful at-home practice to boost reading and writing skills. This Standout in a Crowd program will increase fluency and comprehension as well as phonics and phonemic awareness by connecting phonic skills, practice to meaningful reading experiences. And this goes from K, so the K is for kindergarten, to F, which is grade 6. Now the math. And this is the MCP math, and this one also goes from K to F. The overview. MCP math promotes mathematical success for all students, especially those who struggle with their core math program. Now, this is the end of the MCP series. And I must tell you that the prices have not changed. The prices remain the same. It's very affordable. So every parent, teacher, and bookseller need to have this book. So you can promote it as a resource material, supplemental material, and I'm sure when you tell the parents and the teachers the offerings of this series, they'll be sure to buy it to keep it in their home or at school and add it to the book list. Now I'm presenting the Ladybird titles. These books are a must-have. Must-have. From the baby is born and can recognize colors, they should have a Ladybird book. It doesn't matter if you buy it and they tear it up, or they look at the colors and trying to see what color is this. Babies normally recognize black and white initially. So when they start recognizing colors at a couple months old, these are very colorful and the best thing for them to see as the first colors in their life. Not only colors, but pictures and drawings. No, taking it a little further, reading can start as early as 1 year old. When you get a book like the Ladybird Readers and you show your toddler, this is the starter A, right? They will not understand words, but I'm sure they will understand pictures. So when you get your starter A and you show the child the elephant, get them familiar with pictures, let them familiarize themselves with words, teach them how to pronounce, so when they start speaking, you will hear them saying like cat, dog. These are the starters that you need to start them with to get them ready to speak properly and learn to spell. The pictures are there to identify what the cat looks like, what the dog looks like, what the apple looks like. Yes, this series is the best. And along with that, you have the activity to go with it. So here you are. This is the activity book for the starter A, and this book is called the Zoo. So you'll see all the animals from the zoo, and they will learn to trace. Teach them how to trace, and you'll be surprised to know what the kids can do and how they will learn to start. That's the first step of reading, how they learn to start to read. Then you have the starter B, which is a little bit more advanced than the starter A. And this is about Brother Blue. So see Brother Blue? It's very colorful. This is what they want to aid them along in the learning. And they will be so excited to go through the book. If you just take a look at it, these are books that you need in your store. It also have the activity book to go with it. These are all Ladybird readers. Level 1. Level 1 is for age 3 to 4. And this is the story of Topsy and Tim Goes to the Farm. This is just one of the titles in level 1. And it also has the activity book to go with it. Level 2, this one goes from age 4 to 5, and it's Sports Day, and it has also an activity book. Level 2, Peter and the Angry Owl, and this is 6-year-old. See, it also has an activity book, and the activity book asks students questions and give them a chance to trace and draw pictures of the animal they're talking about, Peter Rabbit. It's very interactive. See? Grades level 3, Rapunzel. This is for the 7-year-old, 7 and 8. It depends on how advanced the student is, because some students at 7 and 8, you know, this might be challenging, but once you start them out with the Ladybird series, they won't have a problem reading it, right? So, and it also has an activity book to go with it. Level 4, which is the final level. This title is Peter and the Wolf. Peter and the Wolf is for the 8 to 10 years old, and it has a variety of titles in the series, and it has activity books as well. So this takes me to the end of the Ladybird Readers series. We also have board books for the younger ones, grade years 3 to 4, and they are all available for your purchasing. So give our customer service team a call and we'll be happy to assist. Thank you.
Thank you again, booksellers, for joining us for our 2020 version of our Booksellers Seminar, or post-COVID, because we must focus on the future, post-COVID experience. Before we go, we at the Distribution Logistics Department would like to just give you a little insight into some of the measures that we will be embarking on this year, some of the little tidbits that you would have not got from the other presentations. So let's go back in. Our titles span 4 categories: Carlong Publishers, Hodder Education, Ladybird titles, as well as Pearson titles. Currently, we have available for the primary level our PEP series, which is complete. That's a Carlong Publishers PEP series. Carlong Practice Papers, Mathematics, Language Arts, Social Studies, and Science. Hodder Education as well has a PEP series from grades 4, 5, and 6 for mathematics, titled Problem Solving and Reasoning Skills for PEP Mathematics. These are brand new. At the secondary level, we have the 3rd edition of Log On to IT, and also our City and Guilds Mathematics and English. Prices for 2020. Now we know that our increases are inevitable because we know what the economies of the world have had to undergo. And so we have been considerate in marking up the prices. The recalls. In Science Pupils Book 5, Social Studies, Carlong Primary Social Studies, books years 5 and year 6, as well as the Carlong Primary Integrated Studies series. Now, because I know that you will be experiencing great success and great demand for our products during the selling season, I'm reminding you that our order placement process remains the same in so far as the email address is concerned, or landlines. And for those of you who do not really remember, we do have, as of 2018, our WhatsApp facility, which has been both accepting orders as well as responding to queries, available at 876-856-4770. Now, what are some of the 2020 exciting things that we have available? This year, we will be undergoing order processing confirmation notifications that will be coming to you via WhatsApp and via your email. Instead of just getting a phone call, it will automatically come to you to say that your order has been received and is being processed. This is to facilitate you managing your own pickup and your own activities and planning. Second notification, order ready for pickup notification. So when you submit your orders via email or call in or send it via WhatsApp, you would get a notification to say, one, we have received your order, it is being processed. And then another notification that says your order is now ready to pick up. You can, if you're a cash customer, you can make your payment. You would know what the total is, as well as you will know when you'll be able to come and pick it up at the distribution center at 38 First Street, Newport West. Now, COVID has presented us with challenges. COVID-19 has also, as our speaker elucidated, presented us with opportunities. And some of the opportunities that COVID has lent us are going to be unfurled right here. Now, precautionary measures, which we are getting used to, we're calling them the new normal. We will be, upon approaching our locations, we will be conducting temperature checks. Our security guards have been thoroughly trained and have been doing a very good job at checking the temperature, informing you whether or not you need to take a few minutes to cool down, or admitting you onto the compound at Newport West, as well as sanitization. Now, brand new, here comes the opportunity part. Brand new curbside pickup. I know we're not talking about stay on the street side and stay by the curb. We will carry you onto the compound at the distribution center and will offer basically a warehouse to window service. If it is that our warehouse is unable to facilitate because of the number of persons who are already in the location, we will usher you through the system in another way. So we will be offering curbside pickup. Ladies and gentlemen, booksellers, partners in the education process, together we can, together we will, and together we must succeed, even in the face of COVID-19. Now, before I go, I would like, in lieu of credits, to ask you to join with me as we thank the hardworking committee members steered by our customer service administrator, Mrs. Dolores Grant Smith, as well as our marketers and all the participants, presenters, you, our audience, as well as our technical team. Thank you all for making it happen as we weather the storm of COVID-19.